guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development for INFJs and how to create an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about INFJ, the successful couch potato. Because if you think about it, this is one of the stereotypes if you look at INFJs from a not so positive direction, right? It's INFJs have a boring life, they don't do anything. Yes, they might have things going on in their mind, but in actuality, they're wasting their time. They're wasting all kind of life force because they don't do anything about it. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be this way. You can be a successful couch potato, in particular if that is what others think of you. Because we as INFJs have a completely different approach to what a successful life is. And we can do that without being busy all the time, without really working nonstop. We can create an amazing life. And I'm not just talking about experiencing it nicely, but in actuality, we're living a life of scarcity. No, I'm talking about abundant all the way. Having the material wealth we're looking for, having the security we're looking for, living out our dreams, living out our vocation, and feeling like every single day is an amazing adventure. Today, we're going to talk about how to get there without having to give up our lifestyle, our laid-back personality, which is the thing that gives us this bad rep to begin with. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ Epic Life, then work with me privately or join the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. We're starting May 22nd. You can join May 15th. We're going to have a payment plan and an early bird price for the ones who sign up for the waiting list. You find all the information below. One of the things that has helped me back in the past when I said, okay, am I really ready to take the next step? Am I going to take on more responsibility on creating my epic life? It was always this notion in my head, okay, if I do that, then I have to give up my laid back personality. I don't want to be constantly on the go. I want to be more observant. I want to enjoy life. I don't want to be go, go, go because I see my friends or I see people I know who do that. And that's first off, not who I want to be. And second of all, I look at them and I know that they're not happy. I know that this is not the path. And that kind of mindset is one of the things why so many INFJs get stuck, because it's like, okay, the only role model that I have or the only model that is out there for success looks like something that I know isn't going to make me happy. I know that's not the way that I will feel fulfilled. This is not what success really looks like. At least it won't look like that for me. If I go that path, I'll be less happy than what I'm doing now. And let's say my current situation is I am sort of laid back, but I'm barely making it by. I don't get to experience amazing vacations. Okay, I know the current situation is a little bit different because of COVID, but besides that, like being in a position where you can live in an environment that makes you happy, that makes you feel abundant, which allows you to go on vacations, which allows you to live out your gifts, your inspiration, and to feel like you're alive, like everything is happening for you, not against you. It's not a struggle every single day. That's what we want to get to. And we know we're not going to get there by doing something that others call successful. That's actually like giving up. It's actually playing by the rules. And it's in this dilemma of staying in the current situation. I know that isn't going to make me happy. But on the other hand, like going that route of being a workaholic and working all the time and being everything in such a way that people could never say I'm a couch potato or I wouldn't feel like one, like that's also not the way to go. Like that's definitely not going to make me happy. So I was at that position for the longest time. And at one point I decided, okay, I need to change something. I need to change something, and I actually have to go that route of, that's the role model that I see. That's the path that's being represented, because I knew there's something there that I'm not seeing maybe. There is at least a possibility, but I already know where I'm at right now isn't going to be enough for me. So I went that route and I looked at it, and that's when, I was working in a top tier consulting agency, and I was really in this world of working and being in this mode of doing. I still laid back, but I wanted to see how that feels like. And I hope that would give me some inspiration to what the next step would be. So now, years later, where I'm doing my own thing, where I have my business, where I'm definitely way more of a couch potato than I was when I was doing my business, now I'm actually creating more success in my life. Not just from a point of, okay, I get to do what I want and I have way more free time, but it's also something that continuously grows and has an impact. And I'm doing this without working all the time. I'm doing this while staying true to my laid back nature. And maybe I wouldn't have found out how to get there if I didn't take that step. But now that I know, I believe that we can have a shortcut. We can understand what the path is that will help so many INFJs to get where they want to be, to live that epic life, to create more and more, and to do that without them having to give up their nature, without them having to give up their way of consuming life and enjoying it. So the key word here is boredom. This is one of the most interesting things I've found, and I was hesitant for a while now because I've been pondering on this topic for a couple of months. It's not like something I just started thinking about, but how boredom is so important for this whole process. But in order to put it in the right context, we have to understand what boredom in this particular case really means and why we want it. Because I'm not here to tell you, oh, you need to do something that's more exciting, something that makes your heart almost explode, where you can't wait and you're excited and nervous and anxious, all of those things. I'm here to tell you we need the exact opposite. We actually need boredom, but we need boredom at the right place and at the right time. So think about the things that cause you the biggest excitement in your life, but excitement in a way that could also be called anxiety. Is it maybe a potential relationship? Is it an existing relationship? Is it maybe that you continuously worry about your friend who always gets into trouble and all the time your thoughts are with him or with her? Is it maybe that you continuously say, oh, okay, when I'm with my coworkers and they don't like me, and then I try to do this one thing and then it backfires, all of those things. Be honest with yourself. Like, what is it? Write it down. For me, it was the longest time thinking about one of my friends, thinking about what my mother's doing, being in a position where I had negative relationships with another family member, or I was worried about how colleagues are going to think about me, or people back in college. Whatever it is, be aware of it and write it down. What is it really? What is the thing that gives you excitement in your life? And I know it sounds like, okay, but that's not really what excites me. I'm not doing this. But in the end, yes, you are. On a subconscious level, you are. We also choose partners very often that are very turbulent, that make us feel all of those emotions. I remember a while ago, I started watching Grey's Anatomy from the beginning. So I don't know how it all started. And of course, I haven't watched it for 20 years or how long it hasn't been on. But this is a show that is based on drama. Every single episode, I cried. Every single episode, there were highs, there were lows. You can have all kinds of opinions about it. And I remember watching this and on the one hand, getting emotional up and down, and me on the other hand thinking, oh wow, how manipulative. Like, how bad is this? Like, you actually make people addicted. Because we as people are addicted to these highs and lows, to this thing going on, to this emotional atmosphere, because it makes us feel alive, it makes our heart rise. All of those things are just psychologically pulling us towards this, and we need this as people. And normally, we get it from the closest thing around us. So that's why we binge watch shows. That's why we actually stay in situations where there is not everything going smoothly, where there is some kind of drama, where things might work out or they might not work out. You know this. We all think we want peace and quiet and serenity, but then we look at our life and we're continuously in these situations. And if you're honest with yourself, if you're really rational, you could say, I don't need to watch any kind of show that makes me go up and down. I don't need to entertain my coworkers. It'd be totally fine for them to think that I'm boring. It would be totally fine for them to think I'm a couch potato who doesn't do anything, who just sits around and doesn't engage in all of their activities. It'd be totally fine to not have that uncomfortable situation with one of your parents over and over and over again. This is possible. It just doesn't feel like it. It feels like, of course I have to react. Of course I have to help that person. They need my help. Of course this is going to affect me. So let's look at this from a bird's eye view. Why am I talking about all of these things when it's about creating a boring life and then being able to be a successful couch potato? Those things are keeping our life exciting. They are not good for us. They still keep it exciting. Watching some kind of television show keeps my life exciting, and that leaves me in my comfort zone. So if I want to get to a position where I'm motivated enough to go a path that first off forces me to get out of my comfort zone, that secondly makes it so narrow that I don't have to do all of those things. I just do this one thing. And this one thing is first off good for me. It makes me grow. It gives me excitement that is not based on drama that is barely making me survive, as in, I have a little bit excess energy, so what am I going to do when I get home? I go and watch a TV show. Or I have a little energy left, so I'm going to use it to think about what my friend is going through, or how much she or he suffers, what is going on in that particular situation, whatever it is. We have to become aware that not just our actions, but also our thoughts, the things we put into our system, that drains us. And on some level, we feel like this is the comfort I deserve in the long run. This is what I'm able and what I'm deserving of living, this kind of lifestyle. And if things are going too well, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to think of something that's going to drain my excess energy. That's a human thing. But we as INFJs can actually figure this out rather easily if we're willing to look at it from that perspective. And to say, okay, what if I'm going to give up having some kind of relationship that is full of intense emotions and romance and just this kind of fairy tale thing? I always said we're looking for drama. And I'm not talking about drama how you see it on, those reality shows where people fight, but something that isn't working out right. Because if you would imagine your life with a partner where everything is smoothly, you don't have any arguments, there is no, is it going to work out or isn't going to work out? Both are happy, everybody goes about their business. You have a thing in your life, maybe your own business or maybe your job, where you're being respected, where you're being cared for, where everything is nice. The thought of this very often scares us. And you might say, no, that's not the case. But think about it. What would happen if you didn't have all of those friends that you have right now? If all you had were friends where there was no tension? What if you gave up that person that you wanted to be with because it doesn't work out right now? What if you stopped trying to impress your coworkers and you let them think that you're boring or that you don't know anything or whatever it is? What's going to happen then? Your life actually becomes rather empty. It becomes boring. And I'm here to tell you, a boring life is exactly what we want, because it's not going to stay this way. All we do is we close the doors on all of those things that allow us to escape. All of those things that allow us to project our excess energy onto them, to take on more tasks because we feel like we have to. This is a choice. And I know how hard this sounds like. I'm not going to care about what that person thinks. I'm not going to hope that my coworkers see my value and that I stop proving myself, because all of these things are ego needs. And every single time your ego loses, it hurts like hell. It's horribly painful, but it's exactly what we need. Because once you have this boring life, this life that actually makes you feel like a couch potato, not just like, okay, I'm doing things here and there, but like actually, okay, I'm not doing anything with my life. And it really feels like this. Because before, you're keeping yourself so busy, it doesn't feel like you're wasting your life. It feels like there's excitement, there's movement, but still the years pass and nothing has changed. We want to get out of that. So we have to close those doors. We have to make it painfully boring. Because then you realize, okay, the excess energy that I have, I'm going to use it now to push myself forward, to create something which then will generate more and more excitement for my life. And when you do this, you will see that although you do so much less work than before, you're that much more relaxed than you were before. You're able to create movement in your life. You lean into this INFJ epic life and you're aware of it. You feel it. There's no doubt about it, because you're carving a pathway of your personal growth. And with every single step, you have more excitement without the drama. You have way more energy, and that allows you to put even more creative energy into the next step. We don't want to survive anymore. We don't want to use the power and the energy that we currently have to keep our head above water, and just so we don't feel like our life is boring. When you come home in the evening and you feel like, oh, I need to do something now, I need to watch the news, or I need to scroll through Instagram or whatever it is, because of FOMO, because of of like the fear of missing out, like at that moment, face the fear of missing out. Dare to have a boring life for a minute. Go to bed at 10 o'clock, because then you'll have this energy that carries with you when you start that day. And you're not gonna put it somewhere in order to stay at the same level. We are not going to use that energy that we have to build weights that will keep us down. I heard this metaphor like a couple of days ago, and I love this, that like imagine yourself to be a hot air balloon, and no matter what kind of motivation you put into your system, like you blow up that balloon more and more with like hot air. If you keep those weights with you, it will not take off. It will not. And what we continuously do by choosing to indulge in any kind of drama, in any kind of thing that gives us this emotional thing in our life, and it can be a TV show, it can be a person, and it's not about like removing those relationships. It's about how much your thoughts are focused on this. You know, that's why meditation is so important, to let go of that, to be present, to allow yourself to feel like you're enough without all of that. And you do that by forcing yourself to say, my life is okay, even if I cut everything out, even if that makes me feel like my life is boring. Because this is just for one moment. You grieve it, you understand that it's an ego loss, and that your life is just beginning. And that you then can say, okay, what is it I want to create? If I cut out all of those things that are not good for me, what is the thing that will be beneficial for me, that will be beneficial for others, that will allow me to continuously grow? This is about like a life path. This isn't just about like this one thing. It's a step you continuously take, and you start creating something which is not based on how that person feels about you, or that kind of drama, or that kind of excitement that you currently need. You create something that is continuously growing for you. And when you do that, you actually become the successful couch potato. Because yes, I'm doing a lot of things. I'm creating this amazing life for myself, but I'm doing that in a relaxed way. Again, this isn't about saying you need to have your own business. This isn't about you saying, okay, I need to stop having any kind of relationships with people at work and trying to impress them. This is a step-by-step process. Whatever it is in your life that you can take on that will actually make your life more boring, that will make you more like, okay, I'm not doing anything with my life, because it's an illusion. We feel like we're moving forward, but all we do is we just spend our excess energy on things that keep us stuck. We need to define where we want to go to. We need to then take continuously steps towards it, get outside of our comfort zone, and do it in such a way that allows us to act out of power and not out of force. We're not doing this in order to struggle. We're doing this in order to have excitement through our actions. We as INFJs don't need to do all the things. We need to do the right things. And that will allow you to be that couch potato, to enjoy that life and create amazing results for yourself. I want to normalize this. I want us to become aware that having an exciting life is not about going to bed late. It's not about having all kinds of relationship dramas in your life. It's about that simplicity that allows you to create excitement through an outlet that is healthy and that helps you grow. That's all there is to it, and I know you got what it takes. Remember, if you want to take the next step in creating that INFJ epic life, you want to have more details, have a better plan, and take action, then work with me privately or join the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. We start May 22nd, May 15th, you can sign up, and all the information, payment plan, early bird price, you can find below in the link. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on why INFJs run low on energy. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time.